Hi Internet. Today we'll be servicing Apeks DST first stage that goes with my XTX 50 second stage regulator. Just recently posted video on servicing the second stage, and today we will be doing the first stage video. Without further ado, let me show you the actual first stage. That's the DST first stage, 4 low pressure ports and 2 high pressure ports. As usual, we're gonna be disconnecting all of the hoses, transmitter and SPG, and then we'll move on. We'll take the SPG first. We'll be replacing O-rings, so I'm gonna take the high pressure O-rings from it and put it aside. Then we will remove the transmitter. Also, the O-ring here will be replaced. So that left us with the 2 hoses. This is my inflator hose and this is my long hose for my side mount configuration. If you're not familiar with the long hose or side mount configuration, don't worry, it doesn't matter. No matter how your hoses are connected and how it's used, its process is the same. Replacing this as well. So we don't need the hose and the second stage, so put it aside for now. And let's just have a look what we got. So this one is, as I said, it's a DST first stage from Apeks. This one particularly doesn't have the 5th port, so it has 1, 2, 3, 4 low pressure ports. So some regulators come pre-assembled or designed. That it has the 5th port here, like the DIP6, which I highly recommend to watch the service of the DIP6 regulator. I will provide the link in the comments section below. That one has by design the 5th stage, which is really convenient. So if you're not familiar with the needs for the 5th port here, the technical divers will probably know all of this, so so you can guys skip, but this is just for the people who never heard about this. So it's a really convenient feature. So for example, in my side mount configuration, I have my hoses routed the way that they actually, the regulator mounted like this, hose goes up around my neck, and from this port, when there is a 5th port, there's a, as you can imagine, there's a inflator hose goes to my side mount BCD. Or if you on a double configuration. You place your regulator on an angle to the tank, and then you have your long hose routed down behind your back, up under your arm, around your neck to your mouse. So this one doesn't have it, but I have another first stage from Apeks that has the fifth port, which I'm gonna show you right now. So as you can see, here I have my inflator hose. I'm gonna take it off just for the demonstration purposes, so you can see the difference. So it has the adapter that's been installed that will accept the hose to be mounted here as well. So we'll be disassembling, cleaning, and reassembling this first stage, but we will be installing this adapter here. So I will have two first stages with the fifth port, which will be really convenient. So for my right tank, I will have the inflator hose for my dry suit coming from here. So for my cave diving in Mexico, it doesn't really matter. I don't use the fifth port on this tank because I don't have a dry suit, but inflator, I need this from here. But for my cold diving in Canada, I would prefer to have the fifth port on both first stages. Okay, we'll get back to it later. For your references, this is the manual that I'm using. I downloaded it from the internet. This one is the revision from 2009. So, and this is basically yoke version shown here, but the manual is for both yoke and DIN. I like this version. There's also this version here, which is 2005, but pictures and description here are a little bit lacking in my opinion. So I don't really like that version of the manual, so I prefer to use this one. Okay. Then we have first stage service kit. So this one RT141114, first stage kit diaphragm regulator, AP0241, Alpha Papa 0241. Okay, this is the service kit for the first stage regulator that we'll be using, and this is the upgrade to the fifth port. It's a separate part that you can order. If your regulator like mine doesn't have a fifth port, you can order this kit, RA117113 or Apeks part number AP0274, Alpha Papa 0274. Okay, but we'll get to the kits later when we'll be assembling everything back. So first thing first, we have to take the environmental cap off. So we're taking our trusted handle mount, putting it in a vise. We'll take number 6 wrench and adjust the pin sticking out, just for it will be enough to go to that little hole on the cup here. When you unscrewing using this type of wrenches, always hold the wrench tight to the object and then rotate. So that way it's not going to slip and scratch the surface of the regulator. Okay. So we're taking the cup and we're removing this plastic screen here. That will be replaced as part of the kit. So then we will take the first stage over, and the hydrostatic transmitter, this plastic piece, will come off. We're gonna reuse it. So, and now we will have to, this is the adjustment screw. We have to back it up to relieve the pressure from the spring. So I believe this is, that would be that's number 6. let's make it loose. Okay, and now we have to unscrew this clamp using the clamp spanner like this. It's also number 6. Okay, so we're gonna remove this clamp, put it in a vise again. So almost always hold it in place and then unscrew it. Okay. So here we have a mainspring, put it aside. The washer that sits on top of the diaphragm. It's actually not glued, it just pressed in, so it looks like it's glued into here. So yeah. Oops. So it looks like this. We're gonna reuse it. Now we have to remove the diaphragm. So the correct way to do it, to plug all of the ports with the plugs, except one, and apply the pressure from your compressed tank, from your air tank, the diaphragm will pop off. The reason why they recommend to do it, so you know, when you say if you want to use the pick, you're not gonna scratch the surface that underneath the diaphragm. So I'm gonna be very careful removing the diaphragm, so should you be as well. So we're not ever gonna reuse it. So I'm basically poking through, and I'm doing it in an area where there's a gap, so I can kind of, it's not here by the wall. That area you don't want to scratch, but if you poke it here, it's not going to scratch anything, and then you just pry it off. The diaphragm, of course, will be replaced. So now we have a lifter. Remove the lifter, put it aside. So this side is disassembled. So now we take the screw off from here completely, and the retaining ring goes in here. So now we're going to be taking the rotating turret off. So also use the 6 hex key, Allen key. We'll place it here and unscrew it. Okay. Mounting in the vise. Unscrewing it. So do not take this nut if you're not servicing regulator, because as soon as you unscrew it, you have to service and replace the high pressure seat, because it's going to disturb the seat, like as you can see right now. So it's under spring pressure. I'm going to remove it. So this is our high pressure seat. This goes and sits inside of this volcano orifice inside of the first stage. As soon as you move this, the seat is not going to be sitting properly. Okay, so just going to take the seat off. It's part of the kit. It will be replaced, and a spring. So then we have this plastic washer and O-ring that we're going to replace. So we're replacing this O-ring here. And there's an O-ring inside, right there. Make sure you're using the brass pick, not stainless steel. Even that, you don't want to scratch the surface inside there. Basically, just pick the O-ring like this and carefully remove it from here. Okay. So this part will be replaced with the fifth port replacement part. I'll show you the difference between those two. So I'm just gonna keep it as spare. Okay. So now that whole thing will come off. There is another spring here. Sorry, O-ring here. And then we will have to also remove the plugs. And we'll be replacing, oh, wrong size. I think that's the size. It's number 5 millimeters. So that's disassembled, put it aside. We'll remove the O-rings from the plugs. Put it aside. Okay. So now what's left is the DIN assembly, the cup. I usually wash it as well. So here, I believe we have another 6 millimeters. So we're gonna remove it by putting it in a vise in our handle. Okay. So that whole DIN assembly fall apart. So this is the O-ring that goes against the tank valve. Of course, we will be replacing that one. You can see it's gonna get flat, almost square. So on this side we have a filter. I'm gonna use the plastic handle to pop the filter off here. And there's another O-ring around the filter. So that part is disassembled, ready for the cleaning. Hand wheel, plastic washer, and the main regulator body. That concludes disassembly of the first stage, Apeks DST. I'll see you after cleaning. We'll be assembling and putting everything together, and of course we'll be adjusting. Thank you for watching. Okay, we back. Everything clean and dry. Before we starting reassembling everything, let me focus a little bit on this kit for the fifth port installation that I was talking about. So this is the content of the kit. It came with instruction how to install the fifth port in case if you're not servicing regulator, you're just replacing the port. So it has the kit content. Basically, it has the O-rings, high pressure port, and fifth port assembly. So I already replaced all of the O-rings and parts that needs to be replaced. This came from the first stage service kit, and their fifth port kit also have the same O-rings that the kit has. So this O-ring that goes to the main body, this O-ring then goes to actual port. Remember we took that screw that hold the whole turret assembly together. So this is the replacement part. So this is where you will screw your hose from the fifth port. It has the hole through. This one doesn't have a hole through. So basically that part down here is the same, except that it has the hole through the whole body, so it can actually accept the low pressure air to come through. So we're gonna take this part that we took from the regulator and spare it, because we don't need that at the moment. So I'm gonna put it aside where my remaining parts from the kit is. And this kit will have this kit, the first stage service kit, will have extra O-rings because it's not just for this type of regulator. Just keep that in mind, so you'll get extra O-rings that you might don't need. So we're just gonna take that, put it aside. And also all of these O-rings and the brand new high pressure port, which we already have replaced from the kit, we don't need that because it's already come, there. So we're just gonna save that as our spare parts, as well as the instruction. And the kit back, so in case we need the part number for that. So that goes away. I'll sign that it's new parts, spare from the kit that I haven't used. Okay, so we put this fifth port, we'll be installing it. We'll begin with the main body assembly. We'll take the lifter and put it here. Okay, and this is our new diaphragm. So we're gonna bend it like this and insert in the groove. That groove is right here under the thread. So that's where the diaphragm has to sit on top of this surface here. Okay. This is the blind tip pick, so it will help us to press it all down. So diaphragm sits there nicely. Through the DIN or yoke retaining hole, you can see the lifter inside there. So that's a good reference point to see how your high pressure port will sit. Okay. The next step will be to use this plastic support washer for our main spring. It goes on top here. Okay. We're taking the clamp that holds the main spring together with the adjustment screw. So it has two sides. You need to choose which one is the top. And the top is this side, which is shallower. So if we turn it around, you see it's much deeper and has the recess here around the thread. So that's the bottom part. So we have to put it like this, and this part is just a flat. So here we're going to be screwing up our adjustment screw, just so it holds in place. Don't screw it all the way. And then we put it making sure the spring, so ideally, yeah, you want to make sure the spring will sit there. And yeah, you can actually do that way because the diaphragm is still steel, so that way you know everything is held together. And this plastic washer, it has a recess on top that actually goes in a spring like that. So and then we screw it together. Okay, and using the number 6 wrench in the vise, we will Screw it together until we have a full contact metal to metal here. Don't get anything crazy, so just turn it and you see there's no gap, then that's enough. Okay. Holding the wrench like that, screw it together. Okay. So then we have to screw this adjustment screw down to the specific height. So we're using the 6mm hex to screw it in, so it has a tension, and the distance between the screw and the top surface here should be 4/4 inch, basically. So this is our ruler. We'll put it here. It's not quite 1/4 inch yet. Just a little bit more. Okay. So I don't know if you can see that this is the 1/4 inch. So we're putting it in, and that's where it is right now. Okay. Maybe just a little bit more. Okay. So this adjustment should bring us to the starting point when we'll actually be doing the final adjustment on the first stage. So at this moment, it holds the spring on the tension, and the lifter is actually not moving inside. See that lifter there? So it's solid, right? So the next step will be to take our high pressure seat, and if you notice, it has the hole in the middle. That hole goes on top of the lifter. So it goes in and sits on the lifter like that, okay? So we put our spring in. So there's also another way to do it. Actually assemble the whole port together and turn the body upside down and put it like that. So this is what we did for the Deep 6 regulator. So you can do it either way. You can put the lifter first, the spring, and then trying to fit it and make sure it actually goes to that hole. Or you can do it the way what I was explaining in the Deep 6 regulator maintenance. So we're gonna take that our 5th sport and retaining bolt, get all of our lubricated O-rings on it. Again, just to have a shiny cover. Okay. Sits here, second O-ring goes here. Here in the groove. Then we installing the small O-ring inside. You will see there's a recess inside there. We put a little bit of lubricant down there, kind of spread it around where the O-ring sits. Okay, and we take a kind of bunch of the lubricant on this O-ring. That one need quite a bit. So and then we will be inserting it inside. think it sits well. Make sure our fingers are not greasy. I'm gonna move the high pressure seat back and forth. Make sure it's going well around there. Okay. Spring. Port. Move well. Make sure no grease on the port. And we're gonna turn this upside down. I'm gonna look through to the hole here, making sure that the high pressure port hole actually goes. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it goes in a lifter. But we want to maintain the vertical position. Move it like that, right? But before doing this, we have to install the actual turret. I'll put the big O-ring here. Take the turret. So it goes the plastic washer that has not been replaced. Okay. So this is the plastic washer. Turret. Okay. And then washer could be staying here as well, doesn't really matter. So it goes, make sure, get inside, and then we are applying some inward pressure, so the thread that catch the inside thread there, right? And then we gonna screw that part in. So this is the 15 millimeter socket. So, and we're gonna screw it down to the 72 inch-pounds. Okay. Put it in a vise. So then we moving to our DIN assembly. So this is the main cylinder, DIN nut, plastic washer. This is our filter, and we have two O-rings here. So this O-ring goes against the tank valve. You don't have to lubricate. Okay. So on this side, we first of all we're putting the filter first, and this O-ring we will lubricate. Goes around the filter. Okay. And we have our nut. See, the washer has the kind of cylindrical shape that goes against the body. So we're putting the side up and holding the whole assembly like this. We're gonna screw the So we just want to make sure that filter stays with the O-ring where it is. That's why we not turning it upside down, but rather putting the main body on top. Okay. So this is now this is the again this is the 6mm size. It has to be screwed in at the 177 inch-pound. So again, we putting it in the vise. And screw it in. So now we assembled the rotating turret and the fifth port. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ports. I'm not gonna be needing this port for my trip right now in the warm water in Mexican caves. So I'm not gonna use this inflator hose for my dry suit. So I'm just gonna plug this port for now. So I would need 2 ports though. On this regulator, I probably would need only 1 port to be used for my long hose in the second stage. So which I'm gonna be installing the regulator right now. Okay. And I changed the O-rings on the hoses already, and I lubricate them as well. Okay. The rest of the ports I'm gonna plug. All of those O-rings was already replaced. So and this is our 5mm. So to screw to the fifth port, always have hose already attached, so you can have something to hold on. Okay. All right, I'm gonna put all of these plugs back and then get back to you. So you can see I put the plugs on all of the ports, low pressure ports. So the regulator will be positions like this. So I would need position like that towards the tank. So the SPG will go on top. My transmitter goes on the bottom. At the very end, where I'm screwing them in, I'll make sure the O-ring is not protruding and actually going all the way inside. Sometimes if you rush, so you might catch the O-ring and it will actually be damaged. Okay. All right. So this is assembled to the point where we can actually start adjusting. I'm going to connect it to the tank and then we will start adjusting the regulator. Okay. So now we're ready to start adjusting the assembled first stage. I told you that I'm not gonna need this fifth port for my diving in warm water, but for adjusting, you need to install the inflator hose to either of the ports, so you can connect your intermediate pressure gauge to here. Okay, the Apeks required to have a pressure between 130 and 145 psi. So I will be adjusting it and aiming for 138, somewhere in the middle. You also need to connect, of course, to a regulator the second stage, so you can relieve the pressure from the system, because we just assemble everything. We don't know how it's going to perform. We'll be slowly opening the tank and while purging the button and see where we'll bring us in terms of intermediate pressure. We should be around 100 ideally, and then we'll be raising it up to required 138. Okay, I'm gonna pressure the purge button and open it slowly. So, and we are at 75 psi. So if for any reason your intermediate pressure, when you just assemble everything, will be higher than 145, purge it, close the tank, back up your adjustment screw counterclockwise, bringing pressure down. You also want to make sure the pressure is stable. It's not slowly going up. So if it's slowly going up, then your high pressure seat needs to be taken out and readjusted, reposition it back. So you can't really do anything if the pressure is creeping. So you have to take the high pressure seat off and install it back and start the adjusting from the beginning. Okay. All right, so pressurizing it again, opening it slowly. Okay, we had 100, we had 75. I'm gonna turn it clockwise, quarter turns. And pressure and release the pressure a few times to position the seat inside of the first stage. So as you can see, right now we're at the 100. So we slowly going up, no rush. Just go your quarter turns. We already at 120 psi. We'll keep going up, but we'll be turning it slower right now. .130 psi at the moment. Very small increment adjustments now. So it is 138. We're gonna leave it like this for about 20 minutes or maybe half an hour and come back and see if the pressure is still stable where it is, so it's not going up, and then we'll go from there. Okay, it was sitting about 40 minutes pressurized, and as we can see, the pressure still haven't changed in about 138 psi. So I also cycle it several times. Each time I was cycle for like 35-40 cycles, and it always came back to 138. I think this regulator is serviced, so we're removing the Allen key. So now we have to install the environmental cap. So it's stable, as I said, without depressurizing the first stage. We installing the hydrostatic transmitter, but before doing that, there's a decoil with the service date on it. I write the date when I service the regulator. Just gonna attach it to here on the transmitter. So put it in the regulator. So this is new plastic screen from the kit, goes in the cup. I usually like to lubricate the thread a little bit so it's easier to take next time. Right, and we take number 6 spanner and just snugly, like just make it snug, so don't do anything too tight until it stops, basically. That's it. So I don't even apply any pressure. So now, once we install the environmental cap, so now we're gonna close the tank, and once we depressurize the tank, you'll see that this plastic screen will indent inside. It kind of will be negative pressure inside of the regulator. Okay, so with everything depressurized, we'll disconnect it from the tank. We'll put the new, not new, but clean the cap on right away. disconnect the intermediate pressure gauge, and so now this regulator is completely serviced. So when you had a chance, connect it to the tank, submerge it to the water, see if there's any bubbles going around, any leaks. It's always a good idea to do that before you dive. Okay, well, thank you for watching. See you next time. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell button for notification of my future videos. So the next thing will be posted is the BCD service. Okay, thank you, and have a great day.